Hello, I'm Czardus. Grab some coffee, sit back, and chill as we build and play Kerbal Space Program. This is the ultimate beginner's guide to how to start Kerbal. I know that there's been a lot more interest ever since the Artemis 2 program out of NASA going around the moon and whatnot. And so I wanted to get back into Kerbal myself, and I thought, it's a great time to do a beginner's guide. But before we do that, be sure to click on the video or click on the link down below. It will take you to Steam, where you can wish list the game that I am making as well. But anyway, let's go ahead and come in here. So if you're brand new to Kerbal, what you want to do is you want to go to Start Game. And a couple of things really quick. My game might look different from yours because I am running mods, and I will have a video in the future about how to set up mods. But if you're just new here, recognize that stuff like up here in the corner, I don't think you have that if you're not running mods. So it'll be something new. We're going to go to Start New. And I recommend starting with career mode because then, it sounds intimidating where it says that you have to manage all aspects of your space program, funds, reputation, science, they're all active, and contracts are available. But I find that it actually helps you walk through the different steps of learning how to make the rockets, learning how to do different stuff, learning about the different parts. If you go right into Sandbox, it'll be overwhelming. Start with career and go a little at a time. So I'm just going to call this the guides. So it'll probably come up with a different thing, or like a pop-up saying I've already done that. So and we can come in here and you can choose a different flag if you want. We're just going to go ahead with Kerbal, and then down here you can also change the difficulty levels if you want. I'm going to go ahead with normal because I often want to revert my flights. I like to have a little bit of starting funds and all kinds of stuff. You can change this as much as you want. If you really want to go to hard, you can. I don't. We'll keep it at normal and then hit start. Yes, override that game. And yeah. So once it loads up, you're greeted with Gene Kerbin, who is the flight director, and just somebody to walk you through. This is the walkthrough. I think I've got this, but I will give you a tour. So we've got the tracking station. That will be where you can go in, and I guess I'm already going to load it, but it shows you the space view, and you can track where different things. So here's the flight, the tracking station window. Okay, so we've got that. Flight engineer, that's another mod that we could talk about later. But again, you can see the space. You can see that this is our home planet of Kerbin. 2 moons. There is the Mun, and then there's Minmus, which is farther away, but actually, so that's just a good little thing to know. And then if you zoom out even farther, by the way, I'm using the scroll wheel to zoom, you can see the different planets in the system. The Moho, then farther out, this is their Duna. I wish it didn't cover these up. So on and so forth. You can go out and get to all of them. But we're going to zoom all the way in here. And we're going to see, looking at, we have one thing. There's a launch site over here, the Woomerang launch. And then where we are currently is here. We have the Kerbal Space Center. And then there's also an island fly to. But we're going to go ahead and click up here to leave the facility in the top right. And we'll go back to the... okay, so now the next thing we've got over here is the launch pad. That's where things can launch from. If you have a vessel already built, you can go right there. This is the runway for different planes or space planes. You have a long, flat surface to either land on or take off. Then here we have mission control, where we can pick some contracts to follow, where you can earn money for bonus things. Then the space plane hangar, where you can build your space planes. It has the construction in a horizontal manner, as opposed to here we have the vehicle assembly building, which has construction going in a vertical manner, and we will work on that. We'll start there in a little bit. And then astronaut complex. Here you can meet all your different astronauts. You can see where they are in leveling up. As they level up, they get better and give you more options for flying and things, for letting them take over the flying, as opposed to you pushing all the buttons. Then here we have the administration building, where you can choose different styles of play, where maybe you want to convert more of your science points into money, or do that in the administration. And then the research and development, that's where the tech tree is, where you can unlock stuff with science. Now, up here at the top, you can see we have 0 science, so we need to get some. And then here, this is our reputation. As we fulfill contracts or break world records and stuff, our reputation will go to the right. And then you can use station building to work on lowering that back down. Here we have the amount of money we have. And money really comes into play because you need money to buy the parts for your rockets, but also you come to these buildings, you can right click and you can see that you can upgrade them. So like our vehicle assembly building right now, we only have a maximum of 30 parts that we can put into a rocket. And we pay 225,000 credits, we can upgrade that to 255 maximum parts. And we can do what's called action groups, which are useful as well. But we're not ready to do that. Next, we're going to come over here and see, you can speed up time. You can click to warp to the next sunrise. You can see the alarms that you have set. So like if you have a spacecraft that is going really far away, it's going to take a lot of time to get there. And having an alarm will help you remember that, oh wait, today's the day that this craft is going to reach Eve. So that will help you remember. And then down here, these are just like buttons to click on those. Now on the bottom right, you can see different mods I have are these ones, but you should have this one here. That opens up the manual that will give you more information. Then here you can see the contracts that you have in play. Here is the alarm clock, and here are different messages. Now the first thing we're going to do is we'll go into mission. You can see we've got 4 contracts offered. These are sorted, oh no, they're sorted by different stuff. This is because I have mods on here. We're just going to go with Explorer. And you can have, for you, I believe it only shows a maximum of 2 contracts. So for now, we're going to do gather scientific data from Kerbin, which means that will make it so that we're just going and we're gathering some. Let's have that be 1, and then launch our first vessel. That'll be 2. So now we have our maximum contract. Let's go into the vehicle assembly build. And here we are. You can see we've got Werner von Kerbin, the chief rocketry, and you can give a little tour. But basically, you can push down on your scroll wheel. First you have to get let's go ahead and I like the command pop. Let's start with that. Now that we've got that, you can move your scroll wheel and go up and down. You can push on your scroll wheel and do nothing. You can right click and rotate back and forth, or push on your scroll wheel and move up and down out. So then we've got, this is a mod, we'll move that out of the way. You can rename your craft. We'll call this Kerbin 1 because we are just testing Kerbal Science Center. Okay, so that one, we're just kind of naming these so that we can remember them. We'll go ahead and hit save. It will save that ship, and then if we go to open, we can open it back up. Over here, we can see we switch to the editor. Now, this is in the vehicle assembly building. We can go back to the other one where there was the spacecraft hangar. That goes back and forth. Cargo, you can see what cargo we have on the ship. Crew, you can see who is going to be on there. We only have space for 1, so I can't get anybody else. And then going back to build. Then here we've got all the different parts that with the command pods. Fuel tanks, we don't have any fuel tanks unlocked. We do have this one. Go ahead and use that. Command and control, again, nothing there. Structural, we've got a girder segment, but we don't need that. Robotics, coupling, payload, aerodynamics, that will come in handy in a little bit. We're going to fins, ground, thermal, electrical. A lot of these don't have anything but science. So these are going to be key things. I don't think you have this one. I think that is from a mod. And I think the only one you probably have is you might have a, I think you don't have that yet. But anyway, then parachute. Let's start with the parachute because that's going to be really important when we get back, or when we're getting ready to land. So we'll put the fuel booster there. That's going to be, and then we want to get a little bit up here. So move that off to the side. And now this is still part of the build. And so I think it won't let us launch. But if you really want to get rid of it, you can click over here. So we're going to come into Cyan, and I want to go ahead and get an inline. Okay, so we'll go back here and get this here, because we're doing an extremely base just to get Cyan. We're going to go ahead and engineering system, which, to leave it off. Computer flight unit, this would be from a mod. Yeah, we'll just do that. And then we'll get aerodynamics. Now, the important thing here is that if we come down here, and I'm covering it, if you click on this cycle symmetry count, you can see these are coming, and now there's 4 of them. If we go up this way, you can see them all together. They're symmetrical. This shows how many you have on there. You might be able to get away with just 2 wings. I like to do 3 or 4. We're gonna go with 4. The other thing is here, toggle snap. So now you can see I have a lot of control. You can move it all over the place. Toggle that on, don't do that. And here, these are different things. You can see the center of mass of the whole ship is right here. And then here, center of thrust. The engine is pushing out here. And then the aerodynamic overlay, that will come in play way more. All of these come in play way more. Here you can see the total cost if we were to build this. It would be 2,000 credits. We've got 28,000. We got a little bit when we accept the contracts. And over here on the right, this is important too. This is the staging. So right now, if we were to launch, as soon as we hit the launch button, the engine would go off and the parachute would open up too. We don't want that to happen. We want another stage. So I clicked the plus button, and I'm going to click the rocket and move it down. So now we're in 2 different stages, and they go in order from bottom to top. So when we launch, we will push the space bar to toggle the first stage, which will fire that solid booster rocket. And then when we're ready, we will hit the space bar again, and it will toggle where it will switch to the, and I think we're ready. Let's go ahead and now that we're here, we can talk about a few more things. We're in the flight view now. So up here we have the vertical speed of the ship. We have action light groups and gear action and brake action. We don't have any of those things set up, so we're not going to worry about those yet. This is our current altitude. You can toggle between the ground, which we are 2 meters above the ground, which I think it must be measuring up to about here, because we should be really at 0, or at sea level. We're 69 meters above sea level. Then here you can see where we are in the atmosphere. There's different levels of atmosphere. It really comes down to how thick the atmosphere is. Thickest in this light blue, medium in the medium blue, and pretty thin here. And then once you get to black, that is at about 70,000. Then over here, we can see we have a direct connection. That is not green right now, so we don't have a connection because we didn't put we cannot transmit science. We do have a signal strength because we're close, and we have full crew control because we have a pilot. Then here we can see the different time modes. You go up here, you can speed up time as well. And then this is the alarm clock toggle there. Down on the bottom left, we have our stages. You can see that we are about to enter stage 1 once we hit spacebar to get started. Stage 1 is waiting, and then this shows our roll, our yaw, and our pitch. Those come in handy much more when you're flying a plane. Then we can hide the staging there. We can see docking mode, which we don't have to worry about that right now. We can toggle the map or maneuver. So those are different things. We're not going to worry about those right now. Here, we are going to turn on SAS, and that will just have Jebediah help with keeping the ship stable. RCS, we don't want to do that. That would be really little engines that when we're trying to dock in space, the RCS. This will be our throttle. Throttle you can increase with shift or control to go up with shift, down with control, and max with Z, and minimum with X. It doesn't matter when you have solid fuel because there's only one level of throttle, and that is 100. This shows our heading here. Right now we are, the heading is 0 because we're not even moving at all. And then this will show which our heading as well. So like once we take off, it will start to move heading from where we are, and it's called the nav bar here. And then this is the G-force that we are subjecting Jebediah to over here. Jebediah is very happy, excited to launch here in a moment. And if you want to, you can see his view by going by clicking on View. EVA, you could have him get out really quick. So Jebediah is out and just looking around. And if you can come in here and you can see this is different stuff for his jetpack, pressure that's experiencing and stuff like that, the amount of weight that he's carrying. And then you can lower his visor to shield the sun. You can have him remove the helmet. Certainly doesn't need it here. Equipment ring. Oh yeah, equip helmet. There we go. And then EVA report. We'll go ahead and do. So he looked around and he said, oh, you know what? I don't think we needed a spacesuit. Keep that. And we have fulfilled that. Recover. Oh, we have to recover in order to fill our. So we have signed. We are going to go ahead and we'll come over here and just right click and observe the mystery goo. Only be. Okay. Yeah, we have to get him back in. We're going to board, and now we can observe the mystery goo. Very good. Keep that. And now that's all I wanted to do on this one, because that will achieve this goal here. We don't necessarily need to launch yet, because if we launch, then we won't be able to do science in space, because we already have our EVA and we have the mystery goo. Actually, let's right click here and go to crew report as well. So they've done that from the launch pad as well. And so we'll just go up here and go all the way to the top, the mouse up there, and you can now hit recover vessel. So we didn't spend any fuel fulfilling that contract, which is good. Once it loads back up, you'll see that we get a little mission summary. We got crew report, we got the EVA report, and we got the mystery goo. We earned 6.9 science from that. And now we are at 8.9. I'm not quite sure, but we did fulfill that contract, which is good. You can come up here, contract parameter. We'll see that in. And parts, we got all the parts back. So we recovered all of the funds from that ship, so it didn't cost us. And Jebediah didn't get any, but he did get to sit in the rocket, so he's probably happy about that. And so we got 1 science from achieving that contract, 2 reputation points, and got 6,400 credits. Be good. We can trash that one. And then we also were the first people to have an EVA test at home, and we performed the first of one of our experiments. And then we fulfilled this contract, like I said, so we can close that out. So now we've done that. Let's go back to mission control. We want to launch our first vessel, and we can perform some of. You could go and do this. I'm not going to, because I don't like doing all of this. I'm going to use a mod and do it one time, and all the science that you can get from doing this. But what you could do is you could go around and go to different parts of a Kerbal Science Center or Space Center, and you can do experiments. If you go and observe the mystery goo right now, and then recover when you're at the runway, and so forth. So I'm not going to bother with that. Yeah, like this one here, we would have gotten that. I'm not going to bother with that one. We're just going to go right into launching the vessel. So it doesn't matter what kind of vessel we launch, but we're going to go ahead. Kerbin, I'm going to come in here. Okay, so here we are. We are going to launch. And once we launch, what we're going to do, the controls are going to be WASD. W will work on getting you to turn this way on your nav bar. D will have you turn this way. A will have you turn this way, and F. You're not going to have a ton of control with this type of ship, because you don't have wings that can control you. It's just a tiny bit of control coming from so we're pretty much just going to go straight up until we run out of fuel. Here we go. We'll go ahead and toggle SAS back on and hit that space bar to start. Now if we zoom out, we're launching, we're burning the fuel down in the bottom left. You can see how much fuel we have, and now we have run out. We're going to go up and see how much higher we can go. And while we're up here, we will go ahead and the Mystery Goo, that should be from flying at Kerbin, crew report, experiment, but we can't disembark, so we can't do the EVA from, but we got up pretty high. 15, are we going to get to 16? We will. We're still going up. Really good view here. If you want to, you can switch to the internal view. So this is what Jebediah can see. Not a whole lot. He doesn't get to enjoy that view, but that's all right. If you hit C, you will come back out of the view. And C is your camera toggle. You can hit that button and switch back and forth. So now we're going back down. We want to get that chute up before we're going too fast. So if we were going too fast, the chute would be red. The chute icon down here would be red, and then it would just break as soon as you let it out. But now it was still yellow. We're going to come down here, and then we much far from where we took off, because the closer you are to the Space Center, the more money you get when you recover. And that chute is going to get bigger as we get farther down. So there we go. It got really big. Jebediah had to flip over a couple of times. It was a little bit nerve-wracking, I'm sure, but it is fine. And then if you want to, you can go up and speed up time a little bit to get the little bit all the way down. We come back down here, and we landed right next to the launch pad. That is pretty much outstanding. I'm going to go ahead and EVA here and just make sure that we've gotten everything we can from here. Yep, 0 science there. Very good. Get him back on board, and then recover. So now we landed, and we've recovered 15.5 science from that little mission, and we got a whole bunch of funds back. Almost all of our funds are back. We used up the fuel, but everything else was intact, and Jebediah got 1 experience point for flying. So now we have 32 science. Let's go into research and development. So here at the tech tree, we can unlock some things. We can click and go to Engineering 101, and that will unlock decoupler, thermometer, antennas. That is a good one to unlock, especially for only 5 points. Then basic rocketry is going to give us a liquid. Go ahead and do that. And then at this point, if you click and drag, by the way, the whole tree, at this point, we're going to make a decision. Do we want survivability, which will give us some heat panels, and more importantly to me, a service bay to protect our science, and a barometer? Those are the 2 biggest things from here, because the barometer will allow us to do more experiments as we're looking around. I recommend doing this one, but we'll look at the other stuff real quick as well. Stability, if you want to build planes, stability is the track you want to go on. So building planes and space planes are going to work your way down the middle of the tree here. And get rocketry is up at the top. You'll get bigger and bigger rockets here, and science and exploration. So all together they go hand, but really you can specialize a little bit as you're going. But I do think that survivability is the first one. I would get as much science. So now that we've done that, let's go into mission control again. This wants us to escape, or now we should have ones that are part testing. You should be getting some haul a engine up into flight and haul the parachute into flight. That one, I believe we have that unlocked. Testing this, the solid fuel booster. I think that what you want to do is you want to make sure that whatever one you're doing, whatever you're selecting, is a thing you already have. You don't want to unlock or get a contract for something you haven't unlocked through science yet, because you won't be able to fulfill that contract until later. You have to pay attention to, like, if we were to choose this one, the flea rocket, we only have a day and 5 hours I think that is a day to accept the contract, and then you have a year to fulfill it. So I think, and then surveys, these are if you go to a specific spot, then you can get these. And once you accept it, it will show up on the map where it is. So I'm going to do some experiments. I think you should do that too. But I think I've taught you everything you need to really get started here. Trying to think really quick if there's anything else we need to talk about. I don't think so. I think you can really play around now and build some rockets. I will have another video next week showing you how to get into orbit. But in the meantime, work on some rockets of your own. Share them on my Discord. The link will be down below as well. And yeah, enjoy the game. It's a great game. I really hope you have fun. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time. Take care.